Something that's important to understand in loving relationships is that we have different attachment styles as human beings. Hopefully you remember this from chapter 6. Freud's theory of the nurturing that infants receive in the first year and a half of their life, that sets the tone for their hope and their trust in others. An infant who receives plenty of nurturing and excellent response from their parents, they're not weaned too quickly, they're not left to cry alone in their beds very often at all. The idea is they develop a secure attachment. They trust implicitly. Just by their nature, they are trusting human beings and seek the best for others, and they trust others to seek the best for them. So these individuals would be secure in their attachments to their friendships and certainly to their partners in marriage. So a secure attachment, they're trusting, they feel secure in their relationship, and they feel worthy of the love that they're receiving. Therefore, they don't doubt and wonder whether or not the person's going to wake up in the morning and decide, I decided I don't like him anymore. Remember, that comes from a sense of unworthiness. You're going to find out the truth about me, and then you're not going to like me anymore. Fortunately, about 50% of us have a secure attachment. I say us, people. I'm not making a statement about my own attachment style. And I might say things like this. It's easy for me to get close to others. I'm comfortable depending upon them, and I'm dependable as well. I don't worry about being abandoned. I don't frequently accuse my spouse of wanting to cheat on me or cheating on me. Second style of attachment, avoidant attachment. In a sense, the prominent theory goes that if an infant is left to cry alone in their bed, is weaned too quickly, doesn't receive the nurturing that they need, they'll develop an avoidant attachment, in a sense, giving up on trust. I got my hopes up and no one showed up. I got my hopes up and no one showed up. And so I'm done. I give up. I'm never going to get closer to somebody because I know that they might have ulterior motives. So an avoidant attachment style means I'm less invested in the relationship, and the person gets that. The person I'm in the relationship feels that they're avoiding me, that they're retreating from me frequently. And this is very frustrating and can lead to high breakup rates, either because the person says, I'm done with you avoiding me, or because the avoidant person performs a preemptive breakup. I know you're talking too close, you're talking about love and marriage and all that kind of stuff. That freaks me out because it stabs at my avoidant nature, and I'm not up for that. So I'm uncomfortable being close to others, they might say. It's difficult for me to trust. Difficult for me to allow somebody to depend on me, and I can't depend on them. I'm nervous when somebody gets too close, and often my love partners want me to communicate more often and more deeply than I feel comfortable. Third style is the anxious avoidant attachment. These individuals might have received the same type of nurturing, but because of their personality makeup at birth, they don't want to give up. They recognize they desperately need close, secure attachment, but they don't know what it feels like, and but they cling to it. They need it. So they're anxious and avoidant. It's also called anxious ambivalent. They don't always seem to know how to feel towards their love partner. If everything is awesome, that's great. You're feeding me continuously. You tell me you love me multiple times a day. You show me you act lovingly towards me. I'm okay. But the moment you have a bad day, the moment the moment I sense, if I'm anxious avoidant, that you've lost that loving feeling, well, then I cling. Then I get angry with you. Then I take it personally. That's an anxious avoidant or ambivalent attachment style. So other people don't want to get as close to me as I want them to get. I worry that my partner doesn't really love me or won't stay with me. I want to merge completely with another person. Why? Because if I can merge completely with somebody, then I can know for sure, in my mind, no one knows for sure, that they love me, that they're not going to leave me. So it's a constant, do you love me, are you going to leave me? Do you love me, are you going to leave me? Sometimes that desire scares people away, and sometimes my anger over the other person's perceived unloving behavior makes me angry, and I can drive them away. So what happens in relationships? Well, if we're fortunate enough and a secure husband and a secure wife get together, well, of course, that's going to be a very successful, happy, we should say, most successful. Here, let's do that. Well, of course, you're going to have the highest success rates and the most satisfying marriages. Why? Because the husband's not worried about her leaving, so he is free to be himself and devote himself 100% to her. She's not worried that he's leaving, so she's likewise able to devote herself 100% to him and not worry a lot. What if an avoidant husband marries an anxious wife? Look at any sitcom where there's a married couple, and very often this is made fun of. This is the script writer's dream, because the husband doesn't like talking about his emotions, he doesn't like chick flicks, he doesn't like getting too close. He's fading away from her, going out with his friends more often, and here she is at home worrying, where is he, what's he doing, is he cheating on me? And she complains, you never talk to me, you don't spend any time with me, and he says, you're always asking for too much, and you expect too much out of me. As you can imagine, this is an unsatisfying relationship, lots of conflict, but it's stable, because when he goes out with the boys and says, man, my wife almost didn't let me come, isn't that the way women are? And the boys go, yeah, that's the way women are. So he basically says, okay, this is the way women are. This fits my expectation. I just have to deal with it and cope with it. Maybe I'm annoyed and maybe I'm miserable sometimes, but this is the way it is. Likewise, she calls her friends for support, and her friends say things like, yeah, men are pigs, and my husband doesn't talk to me either, and that's just the way they are. So although his behavior sometimes makes her miserable and frustrated, her perception is, this is the way it is, that's the way men are. What if you have the reverse? The anxious, ambivalent husband marries the avoidant wife. Well, very, very quickly they learn this doesn't feel right. He's the one who wants to have deep emotional conversations and clings to her and wants to sit around on the couch close watching chick flicks. Let's say rom-coms, romantic comedies, sorry. And she wants him to go away, just go out with the boys, or I'm going to go out with the girls. I don't want to have those long emotional conversations. That doesn't fit. He listens to other men, and they have dream wives, these wives. And he says, man, my wife is totally opposite from what most men say they have. Meanwhile, she listens to her girlfriends and hears that her husband is exactly the opposite of what they have. And she says, man, I wish he would go out with his friends. He's always too clingy. Those marriages tend to end very quickly, within 2 years, maybe tops. Marital success can be predicted, and I'm just going to run through these pretty quickly. Marriages that have the following qualities are the most successful, and the research was fascinating. They gave newlyweds, a marital satisfaction inventory at the beginning of their marriage. And then they followed those couples years and years and years, and unfortunately they were waiting to see which couples divorced. And when, of course, about 50% or more of those couples divorced, they went back and looked at each of their marital satisfaction inventories to see if they could find early clues that existed, and lo and behold, they did. Here's what they found in the relationships that did not end in divorce. They found a high degree of visible displays of affection. You can tell me you love me all the time, but grab my hand in public, give me a kiss, give me a hug. That speaks to my soul rather than just to my ears. They communicate relatively little negativity. Doesn't mean there isn't negativity. It just means they learn the art of letting it go. If I like toast and you can't cook toast, you burn my toast all the time, whose job does it become to cook toast from now on? It becomes my job. I'm the toast cooker. So we don't fight. I don't argue. I just recognize, okay, she can't turn off lights. It's my job. Okay, he can't pick up his laundry. That's my job. It does no good communicating that negativity. They talk up the relationship. I admire her. She says respectful things. Man, I love you. I admire you. You work so hard. You're so big and strong, and those kinds of things. And he says, you're beautiful. I love you. I adore you. He speaks into her need for love. She speaks into his need for respect. They consider themselves interdependent. They have joint bank accounts. They go on vacations together. They are a we, not a your stuff and my stuff. they join together. The Bible has a concept of the two will leave their parents and become one flesh, one person, of one mind. Often, social homogamy is a fancy way of saying they do things together. What he enjoys, she comes to enjoy, and does that. I love skiing, snow skiing. My wife hates cold weather more than anybody you know, but she's learned to ski, and she has arranged ski trips in our past. We're a little bit old to get up on skis now, but we might go back. Yeah. Since we can predict success, we can predict divorce. Here's what they found in those studies. They found that the couples who divorced 5, 7, 10 years down the line, that already in the first year of marriage, the wife was saying on her satisfaction inventory, he doesn't show me enough affection. He considers us separate, maybe separate but equal, but still separate, and he doesn't talk me up. In fact, he talks me down. He chastises me, and he seems very disappointed in the relationship. According to both husbands and wives, already they were saying it's her fault or it's his fault. Why is the electric bill so high? Because you won't turn off lights. Why don't we have any alone time together? Because you wanted to have children. Notice, it's bad stuff happens. It's when my wife or my husband becomes my scapegoat that I'm habitually attributing negative events to my partner. And that hurts over time, of course. The single best predictor of divorce, the one thing that was identified early on that can still be used to predict divorce later on, is how much the husband says he's disappointed in the marriage. That's why I say husbands shoulder the burden for the success of the relationship, because their disappointment can destroy it. We communicate disappointment more openly, and it hurts wives more deeply when we say, you're not doing it the way I want you to do it. You're not being the wife that I want you to be. And on that negative note, we will stop chapter 14. I'll pick up and post something on chapter 16 soon.